with so many people watching and discussing lower division football, we too are going to do our own variation of talking about lower division football. We are talking about USL League One tonight. Welcome to another episode of League One on the Rocks. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich, but I'm not. That is the man we always love to hear with all of his opinions. Brian, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Finally kind of got my sleep stuff worked out. That's why we didn't have a show last week. Yeah, it turns out when you have sleep apnea, you're supposed to use a CPAP. You probably should use it. So I had not been, and apparently that caught up with me. So uh, I have been using it, and I have been feeling a little bit better. So my bad for last week, but it's just one of those deals. You live and you learn. I guess listen to the doctors. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Hey, we're glad that you're happy and healthy, and we're back here talking more about it. So, welcome back to another show.
I'm happy to be here. It's definitely killed me not being able to do the show last week. So happy to be back and talking about this.
Well, to make up for all of that, I have loaded the episode tonight with questions that we can throw at Brian so that we can get all of his thoughts on everything happening across League One. And I'm super excited because I got some good questions in here. Not to
Yeah.
brag, but they're pretty
I,
good.
I mean, they're always good questions.
Well, thank
The
you.
ones you throw in there are always good. So the fans too, when the fans do throw some questions in, I don't think we've ever had
Yeah,
a bad question from a fan either. So
very true. Well, before we get too far into things, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm gonna be taking pulls of the Whistler again tonight. So still got it. It's still here. I'm not putting too big of a dent in it because there hasn't been any home matches really for Union Omaha outside of Open Cup. So
Yep.
I haven't had a chance to drink too much.
Well, that time is coming. What, like 2 weeks from Saturday?
Yeah, whatever the 10th is, must be. I don't know. My
Yeah.
days are going between work and everything else going on, man. I don't have any sense of time anymore. It just flies.
Yeah. So for Union Omaha fans like Brian, Saturday, Union Omaha at New Mexico. Next Wednesday is Team Talk. That Saturday is road trip to Madison. And then the next Wednesday is Open Cup at St. Louis. And then that Saturday, finally, is the home opener. So it's a big couple of weeks for Union Omaha fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, I am going with let's see if we can get, yeah, there we go. Four Roses.
All right.
Yeah. Put a little bit of a dent in there. We drink whiskey in this house. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
just a bit of a dent, huh?
Yeah.
Very good.
Here's your
See, I
ASR
can't do that
reminder.
with this one. This one's a screw top, and it's just not as cool for me to put this by the mic and go like this. It just doesn't, not the same.
I think that's a good pour to start off with. All right, it has been an exciting couple of weeks here in League One, but we can dive into some of the league news. Just in the past week, there has been a ton of news that we can talk about in the League One landscape. First off, League One headquarters announced a multi-year partnership with Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water, which is going to be the presenting partner of USL when they are on. What are they? What's the 2DN or something like that? Is that how you?
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. But when the matches are on that channel, Crystal Geyser Alpine Spring Water is going to be the presenting partner for those. We also had the round of 32 draw for the US Open Cup. There are 3 more teams from USL League One that are still alive in the competition. Chattanooga's taken on Nashville
That's a good
from the
matchup.
MLS. That is.
I like that
We
matchup a
also
lot.
have we also have a rematch of 2023 Union Omaha going up against St. Louis.
That one I don't like as much, but here we are.
Yep. And then we also have AV Alta going to Dallas for their matchup.
Yeah.
And there is still one other Division 3 team alive outside of League One, and it is the Tacoma Defiance out of MLS Next Pro, and they are going to be hosting Portland Timbers.
Oh man, can you imagine the shit talking that the Tacoma Defiance, aka Seattle Sounders lower league team, uh, would be having against Portland? Had like your second team beats your biggest rival. It's nothing better than that. The shit talking
That's
would be phenomenal. I would have to get into some Discord channels for the Seattle Sounders just to see all of the shit talking.
that would
Absolutely.
be amazing to watch. Just to sit back, have your popcorn, and just watch it all unfold.
Oh yeah. I'd watch it in real time too. I'd throw it up on this second monitor over here and just enjoy the show.
Yep. Well, through the 4 matches that we just listed, I mean, I guess we can go ahead and throw the first question tonight out at you. Who has the best chances of moving on to the round of 16?
Um yeah, out of this group, I mean, if you're just looking based on um performance inside of the MLS, I think Omaha is the closest one uh to St. Louis, really. Um but then again, you got to really wonder from that 5-1 beatdown that they gave Union Omaha back in 2023, is there going to be a little bit of bad blood there, or are they going to fully focus on the cup like they did there? I have a sneaking suspicion that teams lower in the race for the MLS are going to sit there and really go all in on the Open Cup. I think St. Louis would have done that anyway, even if St. Louis was first in the West. Um, it's just one of those supporter cities that just love soccer, so they would be completely going all out for it. So I think Union Omaha definitely, in my opinion, has a shot. But keep your eyes on the Nashville versus Chattanooga. Chattanooga, with their style of play, I think they can really frustrate any team that they play. And I have an idea that, you know, coming off of their first victory over um, a higher division club against a good Las Vegas Lights team, this team's going to be playing with a ton of confidence as well, looking for Open Cup. Um, and what better way to be, a really good Nashville team?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. After that win against Las Vegas Lights, head coach Scott McKenzie came out and said that he even called his squad mentality monsters, which I think is really cool.
Love it. I love that phrase. That is one of my favorite phrases in all of sports.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, if you look at the 2025 regular or the season so far for Chattanooga, they truly are, if you think about it, the mentality monsters. They have not been involved in a match where the goal differential was greater than one. All of their Open Cup matches have gone to 120 minutes, have gone beyond and gone into PKs. And even then, only one of those PKs was decided by 2 goals. All the other 2 were decided by one.
Yep.
So you have to have a strong mentality to make it that far, not only in the match, but to do that on a consistent basis.
hmm And I mean, this isn't shocking, I think, to anybody that watches the league or covers the league, that Chattanooga just has that never say die attitude, and they do in the league as well. There's not really a match that they play or have played in seasons past where they get completely blown out of any games. They're usually pretty locked in, and so I fully expect that to continue. And that's just something that you're not born with that. And I think that's kind of built through a club's culture and the fan culture and stuff like that. And I think Chattanooga really has figured that out. It hasn't always come to success on the field, but that's one of those things that you can build on as well in the future. So,
So Chattanooga Red Wolves, mentality monsters, League One Goonies.
ooh, I like it. I like it.
Well, speaking of the Open Cup, the race to $50,000 is still alive. With each of those four teams still alive in the competition, each one of those clubs has a chance to win that pie, that pot or the prize. So without being able to see the US Open Cup handbook or to see how if guys, number one, if there are tiebreakers, number two, how they're decided.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to win the 50,000?
Uh, I mean, like you said, without having access to these things, it's really hard to kind of just speculate on what it is. One has to assume that they have tiebreakers, right? I mean, that would be insane to have, a $50,000 prize that you draw out of a hat. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. Um, I mean, there's definitely some things that you can take away from it. Like it, I think really simple one is victories, right? That's going to be your first overall. So that's pretty obvious. If one of these teams advances, $50,000 yours. Um, Once you go past that, I mean, it has to be something like normal, with maybe draws thrown in. Who knows? I mean, it's this is the U.S. This is the U.S. version of this, right? This isn't the League one, so we're not going to go and throw out and say something goofy like number of yellow cards in the 15th minute of whatever match you played. Then you get the prize money. But um, simple stuff. I don't know. Goal differential is probably somewhere in there. Um, I mean, that's how the USL decides it is goal differential. So I'm going to throw out there and say probably goal differential at this point.
So you think overall wins? Do you think assuming there are tiebreakers in this whole thing, do you think that goal differential would take precedence over, let's say, like another category, a possible category like goals in regulation time, or I'm sorry, wins in regulation time?
Ooh, that's a good way to do it too. Oh no, that's tough. In my opinion, I would say goals in regulation time or wins in anything in regulation time would be your highest priority at that. Obviously, after wins. Um, hopefully it, hopefully it just it. I actually hopefully all three teams make it, and then we have to put this conversation off for another few weeks.
Yep.
That's what I would rather have happen. Um, but yeah, I would assume it's something simple like wins in regulation, or I don't know.
Yeah. Because if you look at overall wins, obviously, if they are all this far into the contest, being a Division three club, they're going to be tight on that point.
Yeah.
Goals scored, AV Alta and Tacoma both have 7 goals.
Ooh.
But if we're doing goal differential, Tacoma Defiance has +4, AV Alta has +3. And if we're doing most wins in regulation time, that's Union Omaha, who has won each of their matches in regulation time. Tacoma has won 2, AV Alta's won 1. Chattanooga, as we previously stated, has not won a single match in regulation time.
Yeah.
So we have different categories and we have different winners based on those categories. So
Of
it's a
course we do.
crapshoot.
Of course we do. It couldn't be something easy. It couldn't be something easy where we can just say, well, this team has all of these things. So no matter what it is, if they all bow out here or bow out later, you know,
Yeah.
then we can figure it out. But it's not going to matter because one of these teams is going to go to the final. So
Yep. True. Yeah.
they're going to win the whole
Um,
thing, win the $1,000,000 plus $50,000. Just a
there you go.
bonus. That million is just a bonus on top.
Go to CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah. Get a little more
Can you
exposure, win
imagine?
that.
Can you imagine the the amount of stress that League One clubs would have if they were suddenly responsible for competing in the CONCACAF Champions League?
No, I can't imagine it, but I can tell you that I would do my best no matter what team made it to make it to every single one of their matches.
That'd be incredible,
Buy the gear,
especially if it was like
everything.
down in like Monterey uh, or Club America or something like that. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
would be insane.
would love it. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen. So we're gonna have to start planning the trip already.
there we go. I like that attitude. Well, looking across the league, we also had two clubs that released kits this week. We had Richmond with their city kit, and then Madison, on a very similar theme, released their home kit. Uh, what do you think of them?
I mean, Madison, get a Madison. That they don't make bad kits. It,
Yeah,
it's a gorgeous kit. I love the sash coming across. That's been kind of a thing Madison has done in the past as well. So I liked it then. I like it now. It's a gorgeous kit and a gorgeous shade of blue with it. Um, I mean, obviously, we know what we're gonna get with Madison. It's gonna be a beautiful kit. Everybody's gonna love it. People that don't even watch soccer over in Europe are gonna buy it. So
yeah.
that's forward Madison. Um, as far as Richmond goes, I like it. I mean, I the blue primary is it throws you off just a little bit, but um, when we initially talked about the crest rebrand on that, I didn't know how I'd feel about it, but seeing it on a kit makes it all the better. Both of these are also collared kits, which I like personally. I find collared kits to be really cool. It has nothing to do with the fact that the first soccer top that I ever bought was a Liverpool kit with it. So nothing to do with that at all. But I love both of them. I mean, I think both of these design teams knocked it out of the park.
I like how they both went for very different aesthetics, even though it's on a similar theme, and yet you still have favorable opinions about both. You have Richmond
Mhm.
going with the city kit, keeping it simple,
Yeah.
um, and on the flip side, you have Madison, who's incorporating a lot of very fine details in it, yet still capturing a favorable opinion from you. So that's cool.
hmm Yeah. And I mean, if you had to have me pick my favorite of the two, um, this is nothing against Forward Madison. The haters are going to say it's because it's Forward Madison that I like Richmond's better, but I to me there's nothing better than a simple, clean kit, and that's what you get with the Richmond one.
I wonder what fabric Ford Madison used because it seems like even in the pictures and the video, there's a particular shine to it
Yeah,
um, that I don't know how to explain.
yeah, and almost like a gloss over top
Yeah,
of the kit. Yeah, I don't know what they use. I wish I did because that is a cool material.
yeah, it is. Well, moving on, we also had plenty of USL Academy contracts being announced. We had AV Alta announcing Aaron Huerta as well as Adrian Villafranco to their USL Academy contracts, and that was announced just prior to their match against Spokane. AV Alta, I'm sorry, yeah, AV Alta FC also signed Adam Almesh, who we're familiar with in the Union Omaha landscape. He won the Players Shield last year. He was the playoff champion. He plays as a forward for Union Omaha. Now he is on the West Coast, teaming up with teammate Luca Mastrantonio.
hmm Yeah, you had to guess that Master Antonio had a little bit to do with that there, which, hey man, it's how it works here, you know.
Yep. Yep. And let's see, we also had FC Naples announcing two USL Academy contracts with Roscoe Rubenstein as well as Thomas Bao. Another player signing came out of Charlotte just a few hours ago with Nigerian midfielder Ogenyo Nazi being announced to the Jacks.
Yeah. Beautiful pronunciation, by the way.
Thank you. I don't even know if it's right, but
It
I
sounded right. And you said it with confidence. I think that's what it was. I think from now on, that's just what we need to do. Just full confidence, full send. No more of, I don't know if this is right. Nothing. No, just going to full send.
just lean into it. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah. You have to. Um, hey man, this is what we talked about a couple weeks back, getting academy kids signed. I mean, that's how you grow a league, and it's working. We're seeing more and more teams signing guys to their academies. Um, I think it'll pay off. And I think that just shows the buy-in for these teams, especially when AV Alta is bringing kids into their academy. That shows that they're invested in the league. They want to stick around. They want to continue. So um, the turnover rate for League One has been super high, way too high for I think everybody who follows this league's liking. Um, so now we have this, and that just it brings a lot of I it brings a lot of confidence in me personally that this league is doing the right thing moving forward.
Yeah, we're also seeing this is a weird time for League One fans because we're seeing the names that we've been talking about for so many years get up there in age, but at the same time, we're also ushering in these younger players, and there's a greater commitment to these younger players too. So you're seeing the veterans act as the professors for the younger players and really show their veteran experience there. And I like the direction that the league is going. I like the greater commitment to the younger players to academy products. Um, I think it instills more pride in the club as well, not only for the people that are working for the club, but also for the fans and for the players. Like there's a greater sense of community if you're having more and more academy products come up through the ranks.
Hmm. Yeah, completely agree.
And they can turn into player of the week, which is what the league recently announced with Westchester's Noah Powder being named just, I think, yesterday, maybe.
Hmm.
And then goal of the week went to Chattanooga's Zahir Vasquez. So,
Fair.
yeah. Now we can jump into some of the week 7 recaps. First match, total chaos. Total chaos. Richmond hosting Westchester SC,
Yeah.
ending in a 4-4 draw.
Yeah. Um, didn't see didn't see this high scoring affair coming. And just going based off the stats, this is about the outcome you would have expected. Both of these teams were pretty evenly matched in this match. Um, I did go back and rewatch some of this earlier today, and that Richmond Kickers crowd showed up for that match, man. A huge return to the form that we know and love from the Kickers fans out there. But I mean, just what a great match to welcome them back to. It looked like the weather looked perfect, like the most picturesque day you could get. So I'm sure that brought a ton of people out as well. And they were treated to a great match. I mean, you, scoring got started early, the second minute, um, and it didn't really stop. There wasn't really a point in this match where there wasn't a goal scored or wasn't a very exciting time. So I mean, this if you want to go back and at the end of the season look and say, okay, what was the best match of the season? This one's going to be pretty close to the top of that list.
Yeah, this was a match where Westchester had the attitude of anything you can do, I can do better because Richmond took the lead. Westchester equalized. Richmond scores again. Westchester equalizes. So it was just back and forth the entire time. Richmond never trailed in this match until second half stoppage time, which is crazy to think about because only 2 minutes later, Richmond equalized. And so every fan that was inside City Stadium on Saturday night got a hell of a show.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you there was a couple other big big things that happened. It's more Powder getting his first professional goal is huge, and being assisted by Noah Powder. I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah.
There is nothing better than that.
Can you imagine a scenario where you and your brother are assisting and scoring
It's
in a
athletic.
professional league?
And I imagine a scenario where both me and my brother are athletic. Um, sure, sure. I can imagine a lot of things. I can speak for myself when I'd say "Mm, I'm not doing that.
Would you be the assister or would you be the scorer?
Ooh, definitely the assister.
Okay.
I played basketball a lot growing up, and obviously because of my size, I'm a point guard. So I'm not scoring a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, I think it'd have to be assisting.
Okay. All right. Well,
Colin's
you
taller than I
mentioned
am. You know, he's Colin's like six
true,
two. So you have
true.
5'11" me or 6'2" him. So if it was me and Colin in this scenario, it's definitely Colin getting the header off of an attempted, probably like shot on goal that went crazy awry and somehow landed to his head.
Yeah. He's got the elbows. Like he can get out there, make some space for himself in the box and
Yeah.
put one in the net. Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't doing that.
Well, you mentioned the Powder brothers collaborated for this goal. This is the first time that brothers collaborated on a goal since 2019 and 2020 when the Rodriguez brothers, Arturo and David, did so with North Texas.
Love it.
Another random fact for you. We also had another eventful note here. It was the first professional goal for Josh Kirkland. Not only that, he doubled up. He was the goal scorer in the 9th minute of extra time uh, to get Richmond the draw at home against Westchester.
Yeah. The ninth minute of 6 minutes of stoppage time. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, crazy.
Um, and yeah, both times being assisted by Chandler O'Dwyer as well. So um, obviously everybody knows O'Dwyer. I mean, that's what he does. So
Yeah,
um, not only did we have that, but minutes before that, Westchester took the lead on a PK from Obregon with a absolutely filthy Panenka.
yeah, yeah.
I
That
just
was
the stones to take that kind of shot in the 7th minute of 6 minutes of stoppage time. Just insane.
yeah. And the way he did it, like, not only is it stoppage time, not only is it to give your team the lead, not only is it to possibly give your team, 3 points on the road, the ref blows the whistle. He doesn't waste a single second. He immediately runs straight at that ball. But right before he gets there, just the softest little touch to float it across the line. That was, like you said, filthy.
Oh man, the mind games being played on that one. Just I was
I thought he was
completely
gonna
fooled.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna blast it.
Yeah. So the run up he took made it look like he was going to.
Yeah,
Just oh, absolutely filth.
yeah. Well, with a 4-4 draw, only two other matches in USL League One history have ever scored more goals. In 2022, week 16, Tormenta and Greenville finished with a 5-5 draw. That's the most in league history. Second most was in 2023, week 31, when Central Valley went on the road to Richmond and won 5-4.
Yeah. I mean, there hadn't been a ton of these kind of matches, but they've all been super memorable.
Yeah. There have been 8 matches in League One history which have featured 8 goals scored in total. Just crazy.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about stats, we can talk about Darwin Espinal. So he didn't have his first appearance with Richmond until the third match of the season when they played against AV Alta. He didn't score in that match, but ever since then, he has been on an absolute tear through league play. Hosting Madison, scored a goal. Hosting Omaha, scored a goal. That was the game winner, too.
Yep.
Going to Naples, scored a goal. And then obviously in this match against Westchester, he had 2 goals. So if you add that all up, he currently has 5 goals, which ties him with Tormenta's Mason Tunbridge and Naples' Carson Hinderlong for Golden Boot with 5 goals in league play.
Yeah. And I mean, none of these teams are pushover teams either. These are all teams that are very well coached, play very well. So yeah, getting it turned on right at the right time. I mean, this was a brutal schedule um, for Richmond in this beginning part of the season, and they've done well. And it would be hard to say that he wasn't a huge part of it.
Yeah. And you have a very hot Darwin Espinal, which leads us into the first big question surrounding this match. Because at the same time, you still have Emiliano Terzaghi, the 35-year-old Argentinian, didn't play in week 1, didn't play in week 2, did get plenty of minutes in week 3 against AV Alta and in week 4 against Forward Madison, but since then has not started against Omaha, Naples, or Westchester, collecting less than 45 minutes of play in each of those matches. So, with the news just a few years ago, back in mid-November of 2022, Emmy did sign a multi-year contract with the Kickers, his third contract with the Kickers. We don't know how long this contract goes, but with Darwin Espinal out on a hot streak, do you think we're seeing a changing of the guard in Richmond?
Yeah, I think we have to be really. And I mean, Terzaghi has had a fantastic career. Um, that being said, he is 35 years old. He's 1 year older than I am, so I can say definitely that this man is insane for still playing at the level that he plays at 35 years old. Um, but yeah, and I mean, with Espinal on his hot streak, Espinal's also 30 years old, so has that kind of veteran status that can really fill his shoes. I don't think anybody can actually fill Terzaghi's shoes with the Kickers, but um, if Darwin Espinal does continue the run that he's on, I think he's a worthy replacement at this point for him. Um, that being said, I don't think it'll ever get to a point where Terzaghi's not going to be coming on at some point. I think he still is that guy in front of goal that can steal you a goal or two when it really matters. So um, I think there'll always be a place for him, and I would not be surprised to see him transition into a coaching role sooner rather than later.
Yep. I agree with you. I think Terzaghi, he sees the writing on the wall. He knows it's there, but he still has the situational intelligence and the situational awareness to put himself in position to score when he's needed to.
Mhm.
We've seen that time and time again from Terzaghi. We know that's one of his specialties. So even if he is getting less than 45 minutes, if you put him in the match late in the match, give him 30 minutes, let him run around with some fresh legs against some tired legs on in the opposition. Yeah, he can do some damage.
Yeah, he don't need a whole lot of time.
No.
We
And
got
as much of a
Alex in the chat saying that Terzaghi is 32, not 35.
oh, he is 32, huh? Okay. My bad.
Two
Um,
years 2 years younger than me then. Still
okay.
doesn't make it any less impressive.
Yeah. And that being said, with Darwin Espinal as big of a contributor as he is, there are still plenty of other contributors on that Richmond squad. So, with 7 matches under Richmond's belt, without saying an MVP, um, for the squad, who would you say is Richmond's leader?
Man, I think as much as I want to say Espinal, I really have to say Chandler O'Dwyer for me. Guys that can get you multiple assists a game, um, and kind of just be able to play the way that he does and be his hold up play as well. I mean, he sees the field in a different way, and kind of going back, I like players that can get the ball to the guys that can score goals. I think that is one of the most underrated talents in every single sport because a lot of these guys that score all of these goals don't score them without these guys seeing the field and getting them the ball. So, um, I'm not going to say MVP, but the a valuable player out of the whole team for me right now is definitely Chandler O'Dwyer.
So, we talked about Darwin Espinal. You just mentioned Chandler O'Dwyer. Um, I was singing the praises of Maxi Shenfield a couple weeks ago. We even mentioned Neil Seufert, who do not sleep on him because that guy can play. Um, and he has a bright future ahead of him. And another guy who we've certainly talked quite a bit about, Dakota Barnathan, Adrian Billhart. So, I mean, yeah, Richmond has plenty of names in their squad to be that leader. Chandler Dwyer, that's a good pick though.
I like it. I'm an assist kind of guy. What can I say?
And since we have him in the chat, we can throw this at Alex too. Alex, who is your Richmond leader? While we wait for Alex to put that into the live chat, I actually have a question related to Westchester for you too. After going 4 matches undefeated across all competitions, Westchester are winless in their last 3. But does this draw the way that they did against Richmond in City Stadium give you faith that they're close to returning to prior form?
Yeah, I mean, I, this is one of those things where scoring goals is can sometimes be overly difficult for no reason. It can be anything from yips, whatever you want to call it, just bad luck, whatever. Um, but when you can consistently score, and you kind of get um, that swagger almost, that you can score goals, that helps the team a lot. Um, and looking at the next 5 that they got coming up, 4 of those are at home. I mean, that just sets up for you to return home, um, after having a big draw on the road because coaches say it all the time. You get a draw on the road, that's about as close to a win as you can get without winning. That is the closest you can get, right? And it's mentally, it does something for a team when you can go on the road, prove you can score goals on the road, and come out of a tough environment that we all know City Stadium is, with a draw. You come back home for a match, go away for one more, and then 3 back at home. Granted, against tough competition, I think this is definitely moving Westchester in the right direction.
Yeah, and Rhode Island, who travels to Westchester this weekend for the Jägermeister Cup, could become the League One punching bag for the Northeastern area because Portland defeated them in the Open Cup, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would look pretty bad for Rhode Island to lose to one expansion side in the Open Cup, and then lose to the other expansion side in the other cup.
Right.
Well, we can move on to the other Saturday, another Saturday evening match. This was Chattanooga Red Wolves hosting Greenville Triumph, and this was another result that a lot of people did not see coming.
No, I
With
mean,
Chattanooga taking the 1-0 draw, or 1-0 win. Sorry.
yeah, I didn't see it coming. But that comes down to uh mentality monsters, right? I mean, Greenville Triumph, I think we talked before. You know what you're gonna get. I mean, we say this for every single Greenville game. You know what you're getting out of Greenville. That's what it is. You know what you're gonna get out of Chattanooga. And in this one, I think Chattanooga executed that game plan of going in and frustrating a good team, and I think it ended up working out for them. Both sides had good chances throughout the match. It was pretty evenly balanced. I think Chattanooga to me looked a little bit more like a team that is composed and ready to play, which was nice to see from them after the kind of start that they've had in the league. But it's good to see a Chattanooga team come out and play with a little bit of fire against a good Greenville Triumph team.
Yeah, you're certainly right on that. Let me go back to Alex here really quick. He agrees with you 100% on Chandler O'Dwyer for being that leader for Richmond. So if Alex is agreeing with you, you know you're doing something right.
I have to be doing something right.
And then he also corrected us. Portland lost. Yeah, Rhode Island beat Portland, and Hartford lost to Portland. Um,
Uh,
yeah, Portland went the distance with Hartford 1-1 after 120 minutes, and then defeated Hartford 4-2 in penalty kicks. But then in the next round of the Open Cup, Portland hosted Rhode Island and lost 2-1 in regulation time.
Gotcha.
So there we go. Thank you for the update, Alex. I'll appreciate it as always. Yeah, when you think about this Chattanooga and Greenville match, not gonna lie, it wasn't a terribly exciting match, but at the same time, both sides were doing anything and everything they could to frustrate the other side. Um, and Zahir Vasquez's goal, we talked about how it was goal of the week, much deserved. Um, Still surprising. This was not a match that lived up to expectations. If you looked at prior matches between these two, it was, usually these are card heavy. There's lots of goals. There's lots of emotion involved, and here it was complete opposite.
Mhm.
So jumping straight to the big questions for this match. First off, for Chattanooga, only one loss across all competitions, and currently prepping for battle at Birmingham Legion this weekend for Jägermeister Cup, before going to Nashville SC next week in the US Open Cup. Are you ready to claim this Chattanooga squad as the real deal?
Um, I probably would not go that far yet. I mean, they've only won one match in league play and drawn three, so um, I don't know about real deal. I will definitely say trending in the right direction. Um, I think we're finally seeing a return to the 2022 version of the Chattanooga Red Wolves, the finals version of them. Um, so I definitely wouldn't say the real deal quite yet. Let's see how they play against the Birmingham Legion this week, and then at Nashville SC. If they can pull off wins in both of those, then yeah, then you're 100% the real deal.
Cool. All right. Well, Chattanooga, you know what it takes. Go do it.
Yeah.
All right. So to flip it over to Greenville, they started the season undefeated in their first 3 matches across all competitions, but went on to lose their next 4 of their next 5, including 2 of their last 3. Are you ready to hit the panic button for our friends in South Carolina?
No, no, not yet. This isn't the first time this has happened with a Greenville Triumph team. Um, and they always, or at least history tells us, that they have bounced back and will continue to bounce back. I mean, this isn't a team that the culture of this team isn't gonna let them roll over because of a few bad matches, right? So, um, no, I wouldn't hit the panic button yet. I mean, we're still so early in the season as well. Like we've got a ton of matches left to go. We'll have to see how it goes. Um, definitely, definitely have the button ready somewhere. Maybe not super close by, but close enough that you know where it is. But I don't see any indication that this team or this organization is gonna let them fall too far.
Okay. Because when you look at some of the matchups for this weekend's Jägermeister Cup matches, theirs is comparably, easier than some other matchups. They go to Tormenta for the first round of the Jägermeister Cup. So now that you've said no to that question, what has to happen this weekend for you to feel better about your stance, or to start feeling a little bit greater sense of urgency in hitting that panic button?
Um, yeah, to feel better about it, I think you just go and you play a good match against a league opponent. Um, I know it's in a different competition, but um, you have to play the person put in front of you. So if they can go out and play like they normally do, excuse me, even if they happen to take it to penalties in this one, I would still feel better about my stance there. As far as hitting the panic button, losing to Tormenta like 6-0, that's
Mm,
really the only thing that's going to throw me a huge like panic button, unless we have a 6-0 loss or like half of their players get red carded for some sort of fight that happens on the field. Like then I feel like this isn't really like the team that we're used to. They're not. If they were to come out and just be completely undisciplined and no no amount of care in the world about what happens to them, then yeah, maybe panic button. But I don't have. I give that a less than 1% chance of happening with this organization and with Rick Wright at the helm.
yeah. Man, so judging from your answer there, you are feeling quite confident in Greenville and their ability to bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, there's historical data that says they do.
Alex coming in saying, "Look how many times Greenville has hit the post." Yeah, just a few inches one way or the other.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and saying that those are going to go in eventually, they will. And I mean, like I said, this been a team that's been here since the very first season. We've we've seen what Greenville can do, what their organization does. I would not be worried.
Yeah, I'm trying to look something up here really quick. I do like how Greenville had a recent post in social media where they even got Coach Rick Wright involved and had him getting involved in some fun skits and everything. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I will say my social media usage, because I am currently working at a restricted access area where I don't have access to my cell phone during like break or anything like that, has really cut down on my ability to use social media as much as I want to, just to
Yeah.
stay kind of informed and see some of the cool stuff the clubs are doing. But um, there's always time, you know. We'll eventually get back into it, but
Yeah. So the site that I'm looking at some stats here really quick. I see that Greenville's hit the woodwork twice this season. But going back to Alex's point, if those are happening in a very, very unfortunate circumstance, those could quite literally decide the outcome of a match. So yeah, that's certainly something to be concerned about. And as he states here, those are going to go in eventually. And yes, they will. We've seen that happen with Greenville plenty of times in the past. Um, call it early season jitters, whatever it is. But um, Alex says, I feel like they're both on Ben Zukowski. You could very well be right on that one, too.
probably are.
I agree with him. He says here, also feel like there's more than two. I wholeheartedly agree with him. I do feel like there's been more than two.
Unlucky.
Well, another big match happened Saturday night. This one was between both of the undefeated clubs that remained in League One. FC Naples hosting One Knox. One Knox coming out with the 1-0 victory thanks to a penalty kick in the 45th minute from Tequila.
Yeah. This one was definitely two sides of a coin. I mean, in the in the first half, you had a pretty heavy swing to One Knox, and then after the goal by Tempest Tem- by Tequila, let's it seemed like they kind of sat back and let their defense do the work. Um, because Naples in the second half had a lot of the possession. So um, I think we saw what we expected out of One Knox, and that was a strong defensive performance. Um, and as far as FC Naples, it wasn't like they didn't have chances. Uh, they had quite a few chances at goal, and it had to happen sometime. I don't think anybody in this league is ever going to go invincible and go lossless in this league. So um, it had to happen sometime, and it never felt like this match was out of reach for FC Naples, which I think is a bigger task than it has been given credit right now, because this One Knox defense can shut teams down if they get the lead. Um, and the fact that FC Naples had as many opportunities and looked as good still moving the ball in the attack and just didn't get one in the back of the net, I think shows the quality of FC Naples. So, in my opinion, on this one, I feel like I learned a lot more about FC Naples than I did against One Knox, because we know what we're going to get from One Knox, and it showed. They got the lead. They sat back and played solid defense. That's what they do. But with FC Naples, we saw how they responded to adversity, and they kept attacking. So against a very good defense, that's tough to do. So I think I learned more about FC Naples here than One Knox for sure.
Yeah, and here's a stat that goes right along with what you were just saying. In the first half, FC Naples had 43 passes in the opposition's half. As you said, One Knox takes the lead. We come back for the second half. Suddenly, FC Naples is carrying 65% of the possession, and they had 125 passes in the opponent's half. Like you said, it was all gas for FC Naples in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't get the quality chances they were looking for. They couldn't create a single um, big chance there against One Knox.
Mm-hmm.
So with this match, with it being two undefeated teams, the two last remaining undefeated teams in League One facing off against each other, do you think it lived up to your expectations?
Uh, it lived up to my expectations of a match between FC Naples and One Knox. I don't know if it lived up to like a casual fans like thought of this kind of match, but um yeah, I mean I really enjoyed watching it and watching One Knox's defense work because it's just poetry in motion.
And do you agree with the penalty call that led to Campus Tequila's PK?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't think you can kind of grab a guy's shoulder and spin him around. An embellished spin around, I'll give you that. Like
Yeah.
but of course, you're in the box, you feel a tug, you're gonna embellish the hell out of it, even if it's barely a tug. I mean, that's just how the sport goes. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was an intentional attempt to stop him from getting a shot off.
Yeah. And I think it was a smart decision from the referee. And I think the play by play for this match called it perfectly because they said the way that the referee had been calling the match up until that point, when you see that kind of a foul in the box, you have to call it. You
Yeah.
have to keep the consistency of your calls in line.
Yep.
And with that foul, you have to call it.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk about this every week. Consistency is all we ask for. And like you can be a ref that calls things really really often and for minor things, but if you call it like that the entire match, I'm fine with it. It's when you have these wild swings that we have seen in the past years past in League One where you'll see the exact same play once and it'll be a call on one end of the field and it'll happen again and you won't see it called. As long as you're consistent, you will not hear me complain about the refs.
Yep. And you already mentioned how this did not sway your belief in FC Naples. It actually, you know, helped you learn more about that team and what they play for, going up against a high quality opponent like One Knox.
Hmm.
When you look at One Knox's schedule so far this season, still undefeated, and heading into a weekend where they host FC Tulsa this weekend. Um, I guess they're undefeated in league play, not in Open Cup because they lost to Colorado Switchbacks. Um, but how do you think that they should approach the Jägermeister Cup where playing so defensively in league play has benefited them, but going into a Jägermeister Cup where offense is the key when you would, even if you aren't picking up results?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll change their mindset too much. I think this One Knox team has kind of done what I thought impossible. Take a defensive minded team and ramp up their offense, but not lose any of their defense. It's astounding to me that a team last year that it felt like at times couldn't buy a goal, all of a sudden this season is scoring goals and having that same stout defense. So I think moving into the Jaeger Cup, you might see them willing to give up a little bit more of that defense to get a little bit more scoring output. But at the same time, if you can take a match to penalties and you've got I mean, you're one knocks. You got Sean Lewis back there. You got to take your chances with it, right? Uh, so if I was a coach for One Knox, I'm just going to do the same thing. Just play stout defense, get it to penalties, and get the win in penalties.
And looking at FC Naples, uh, by virtue of losing this match, they, even despite losing it, they still break the record for uh, most consecutive wins to start your debut season across all competitions. The prior record was Union Omaha in 2020. Now we have FC Naples going one match further than Union Omaha by virtue of their success in the US Open Cup. Now FC Naples turns their attention to this weekend where they host Charleston Battery.
Big match.
Um,
Big match.
High quality matchup. And Charleston Battery is certainly a team that you should be preparing for thoroughly. How do you see, now that we've seen FC Naples lose, this is a crucial time when we see them adjust to that mindset. How do you think that they will do going into the Jägermeister Cup?
I feel like it's a huge match against the Battery. That's a tough draw for your first one. Um, that being said, I don't think FC Naples changes a whole hell of a lot. I mean, they looked good um, offensively, not so much defensively. They looked a little whacked out against Knox. It just looked like they were kind of caught off guard by the offensive capability of Knoxville. Um, but I don't expect them to change too much. I think this team has enough quality that they can go in and play well against the Battery.
Yeah, and playing at home, hosting Charleston Battery, they should have no problem selling out their stadium.
No.
That's going to be a great time. All right, we can go to another match with a surprising result. Um, Saturday, 7 p.m. kickoff. We had Ford Madison hosting Texoma FC for the home opener, league home opener in Bree Stevens. Texoma taking the lead late in the match. It took a stoppage time goal from Derek Gebhardt to earn the draw for Madison at home.
Yeah. Um, Definitely not what I was expecting. And this to me was it's gonna be another week where I sound like I'm just shitting all over Texoma, but this match to me really looked like Forward Madison just could not score a goal. They they had so many opportunities, so many good looks, and they just couldn't figure it out. Um, and I don't believe Texoma played overly well in this match. I think they played a good enough match, obviously, to get a draw on the road. Inside inside Bree Stevens, I mean that's a tough place to win matches as well. So um, for Texoma to come in and get a draw here against a good Forward Madison team at facing the amount of pressure that they did to this point, I think this is this is a way bigger deal for Texoma than I feel like it is for Forward Madison. I think Forward Madison showed good things in this, and we're just unlucky for the most part. And it could have been a lot worse. Had Derek Gebhard not made the heads up run after a ball kind of squibbed away from Texoma's keeper and finally found the net, this could have been the match where I'm hitting a panic button. Again, sorry Texoma fans. I don't have a whole lot of faith in that team, but great showing against a good Madison team, and sometimes you just got to be lucky, and that's kind of what it felt like here.
Well, having a soft red in the first minute of stoppage time certainly doesn't help your case.
No, that's not great.
Yeah. But it was certainly exciting for Texoma fans there for quite a while, thinking that they were going to be earning their first win in club history in Madison.
Yeah, yeah.
But we all, weeks ago, we were talking about how Texoma needed to throw more players into their rotation and they needed to get more minutes spread across the roster. We've seen some of that happening
Mhm.
uh, with more inclusion from players that we previously hadn't seen. Does this give you hope that the tide is turning in Texoma?
I think I think Texoma is going to end up figuring out how they want to play and who they want to have in rotation. I think they're just we've seen some teams come into this league and adapt really quickly, and we've seen Not as many times we've seen teams come into this league and kind of struggle like Texoma has. I think it's one of those growing pain kind of things. It was always going to be somebody that would have to do it, and kind of struggle through their first season. At least thus far in the season, there's still time to turn it around. Um, but yeah, I think this is the kind of match that even when things aren't looking terrific for you, maybe a couple lucky breaks here or there, and this is a completely different game for Forward Madison. But even at that, I think Texoma can take this one and build off of this. This is definitely a momentum builder for them. So I have to really like that this happened at Bryce Stevens Stadium, because I mean, I think next to City Stadium, that is probably the toughest place to play in the league. Um, so they're 1-2. So getting getting a draw on the road in the second toughest place to play in the league, I would have to assume that this is going to skyrocket their chances moving forward.
Seeing Forward Madison with their home opener across all competitions facing FC Duluth in the Open Cup in the first round, winning 5-1, going on to have this draw against Texoma. Do you think that they were already looking past Texoma and looking forward into hosting Indy 11 this weekend?
Uh that might have had a little bit to do with it. I don't really buy too much into that. I don't feel like soccer is really one of those sports where you look ahead as much as you do in other sports. Obviously, the amount of matches that you play as opposed to other, like, let's say American football is, you have in college anyway, you have 12 games. So you do catch teams looking ahead because some of these aren't as good, but this is one of those sports where kind of anything can happen, and I think this just goes to prove it.
Yep.
So maybe a little bit of looking ahead, but I think this just was an unlucky time for Forward Madison, and just a way to pounce on a team that's down by Texoma.
Well, looking ahead for Forward Madison, they host Indy 11 in the Jägermeister Cup this weekend. They host Union Omaha next weekend in regular season play. And then in just a week later, they go 2-1 knocks. How crucial are these next few weeks for Forward Madison?
Uh, I mean, Forward Madison, it does something similar to this every year. They're almost like Greenville. I don't think it's super important for them to come out and, like, let's say sweep all three and win really well. I think they need to come out and put together a full consistent match where some of these unlucky breaks that we saw in this match go their way. And I think that is the biggest difference between what we see from Forward Madison and what we have seen from Forward Madison in the past. So I don't think it's crazy to say that if they get two of these matches, that'll skyrocket some of their momentum. But I could also see them getting one or none in here, and I don't think it's going to hurt them as much as most people would think at this point.
Hmm, okay.
I think they have two really tough matches and one match that we just don't know what team is going to show up. One knocks, you know what you're going to get. Union Omaha, you have no idea what team you're going to get. So they could come out and very well smack Union Omaha around, or they could come out and get smacked around by Union Omaha. Nobody in the USL right now knows what Omaha is, and we know what Forward Madison is. We know Forward Madison plays well. We know Forward Madison is going to put on a show and be able to score goals. I think this match against Texoma was the exception to the rule. So many good things happened except for getting the ball in the net, and that just doesn't happen with this team that often.
I like it. Well said. All right, we can move on to our second to last match in week 7. AV Alta hosting Spokane Velocity. Spokane getting a road win, which is not something many teams can say when they're paying a visit to AV Alta, getting a 2-1 victory on the road.
Yeah. Um, just a quick attendance number on this 4,154. AB Alta again showing out really. I'm not super shocked by this outcome. I think these were two evenly matched teams, and in this one, it just there was a lot of offensive minded moves being made, and I think it's another one of those things. We know Spokane is able to win those like kind of high power offensive shootouts more often than not. So, um, not super surprised by this at all. Um, but at the same time, it does show some resolve from AV Alta going down 2-0 in the first half and then bringing it back in the 62nd minute and not really getting down by being down 2-0. So I uh I really like both of these teams offensively still. Even after this match, I think this match was very back and forth. I think Spokane had a lot of it early on. Obviously, scoring 2 goals early on helps quite a bit, but they just look like the better team. And I think AV also really grew into it into the second half. So one of those expansion side things, it's going to happen to an expansion side. They're going to hit these kind of road bumps here and there. And as long as they can continue to play at a high level, especially offensively, I think they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think this one is a similar story to the One Knox FC Naples match, where Spokane scored both of their goals in the first half. They go into the break feeling a sense of control. The thing I find interesting here, because in the first half, AV Alta had 66% of the possession, 90% uh, accuracy with their passes. That was overall. First half, they had 62% possession. Second half, they had 70% possession. First half, passes in the opposing half was 86. Second half was 145. So there was a much more concerted effort from AV Alta to control possession, move up the pitch, and try to develop some sense of an attack happening there. The thing I find interesting here is these are two teams that do very well with controlling possession and accurate passes. And you have Spokane, who didn't have their best outing in terms of both. Um, Finishing the match with an overall possession of 34% and 76% accuracy with their passes. That's got to be on the low side for Spokane. But winning where it matters, and that's the scoreboard by scoring 2 goals there in the first half. I feel a very strong sense of confidence from the Spokane side, despite seeing some of the results that may cause you a little bit of concern. Having that loss to Tacoma in the U.S. Open Cup, that was a battle, and that was a fun one to watch. Having that loss to Naples in week 3, um, like we said, another battle for them. But when Spokane continues to get the chemistry amongst the veteran roster that they have, they're showing greater strides of confidence and strength each week. And I think this is where we're starting to see Spokane starting to gain that form that we're familiar with when it comes to the week in, week out results in league play.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I don't I don't think I could put it any better. That just took the thoughts right out of my head and put it together with some actual words that made sense and sounded good. So
Spokane hosts Oakland Roots this weekend. Should be a pretty
Solid.
good matchup.
It should be a solid matchup. I I, I do like Spokane in that one a lot though. Um, especially at home. I think drawing, having a championship side come should hopefully bring out some more people. It'd be nice to see them get back to their inaugural season numbers for attendance. Hopefully the weather holds out for them. That's probably a huge factor right now up there too. So um, definitely a good one to watch this weekend as well.
Yeah. And on the flip side, we have AV Alta going to Sacramento Republic,
Oof,
which
it's a tough
that's going to be
draw.
a tough matchup for them.
That's a tough draw.
Yeah. We have yet to see AV Alta win on the road. All of their victories have come at home. So this will be certainly one to watch to see if they can pull off the upset on the road for the first time in club history.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember right, didn't Sac Republic just replace their coach as well?
I believe you're right. Yeah. So that could bring some, you know, uneasiness on the Sacramento side.
Yeah. Let's see, where are they sitting right now? They're sitting in 10th in the Western Division. So, yeah, sitting in 10th in the Western Division, uh, under Lexington SC and under the Oakland Roots. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think it's not the team of years past. So it's still an impressive win over. What still could be an impressive win over a side a division higher than you. And like you said, going on the road and getting that first road win would be huge for AV Alta's confidence levels moving forward.
Yeah. Before we move to the final match of week 7, there was a bit of an incident that did occur at AV Alta, and just want to hit on it really quick. I wore this kit for a reason. If you were one of the people that was chanting what you were chanting inside of the stadium Saturday night, educate yourself.
Mhm.
Educate yourself.
Yeah.
Um, if you if you expose yourself to, if you what's that saying, like, good things are going to do good things or something like that. But just educate yourself. um, it's not acceptable to use that in a stadium. um, and if you choose to use this as a learning opportunity to grow and to not use that anymore, I'm proud of you. But if you use this as an instance to dig your heels in and to embrace that hatred, you deserve a lifetime ban. Not just from that stadium, but from every League One match, because your hatred is not welcome. And frankly, I'd be happy to see that you would get a lifetime ban, and you would deserve it.
Yep.
But we can go on to the last match, which was on Sunday, and that was Charlotte Independence hosting Tormenta FC. 3-2 win. Charlotte remains undefeated at home.
Yeah. This one attendance was 705. Um, and 3-2 match though, crazy. Obviously coming in early with Charlotte, Christian Chaney doing Christian Chaney things, scoring goals early. Um, the 9th minute. The This match to me just who wants it more? I mean, both of these teams offensively were going off. Um, Great play all around offensively from both of these teams. Again, one of those things where Charlotte's involved, yeah, you're going to see some offense. You're going to see the ball moving in smart ways, trying to draw that defense out a little bit better. Um, but yeah, Charlotte coming through and doing Charlotte things, scoring 3 goals and giving up 2 goals. Win's a win, man. I mean, I know tiebreakers in this league are goofy and it's goal differential, but you don't need tiebreakers if you win games. So um, I don't think they'll be too concerned about giving up 2 goals to Tormenta. This is a Tormenta team with a tie for the Golden Boot leader and a ton of players that can score. So not at all shocked to kind of see a high scoring affair in this one. And you just really have to credit Charlotte for being able to get out to a 3-1 lead and hold on to it against a team in Tormenta that can score goals quick.
And Charlotte in league play, undefeated at home, as we previously said, every one of their league matches has been decided by 1 goal. Uh, like nothing greater than 1 goal. So is this even though it's a drastically different roster for Charlotte, is this still a similar molded Charlotte team that we should be expecting?
Yeah, I think so. I think with the offseason moves that they made, they didn't retool the team. Even though they lost quite a few guys, they didn't completely reach like turn around their identity or move around guys to make something else work. They lost guys and they brought guys in that did the same things as the guys that they lost did. So I think this was Charlotte's plan all along was we're not going to change. We're going to find guys that fit our system and we're going to play Charlotte Independence soccer. And that's how we're going to win matches. And I mean, so far for them, so far so good. I mean, they're sitting in 5th place, 2 wins, 2 draws, and only 1 loss. That ain't bad. No goal differential of 1. I mean, obviously with all of them being decided by 1, that kind of is how it is. But um, as long as you're winning matches, man, that's all that really matters. So I don't think they changed too much. I don't think they're ever going to change too much. They're going to continue to bring players in that fit their system, that they know how to play, and that works best on their home turf. And I think that really shows.
And on the flip side, when you look at Tormenta, using the similar statistics that you were just pointing out, 6th place after playing 6 matches with 7 points. And when you look at the results of their matches, there's inconsistency and a dash of chaos.
Stop me if you've heard this before.
Yeah, is this the same Tormenta side that we've come to know?
I think yes, but I think this Tormenta team is a little bit better equipped to be that team. I think the players that they brought in and the whole just the squad as a whole this year feels different than they have in years past. I mean, obviously you take away the title winning year and this it feels like the same team, but it feels like a better version of the same team, if that makes sense.
Are they better equipped to make the playoffs?
Uh, I would I would say with the guys they have in the forward position and playing forward, I think this team would be it would take something weird happening that they would not make the playoffs.
All right. And looking at the live chat, Chris coming in here and correcting me on that quote I tried to use earlier. When you know better, do better. So now that you know not to use that chant, do better and don't use it. Choose to show love for your team. How about that?
Yeah.
Embrace love.
There's no place for anything like that in this sport or in the world in general. So,
Yeah. Well, we have Jägermeister Cup coming up this weekend.
woo,
We got our backs against the wall here with the clock here, but with Jägermeister Cup starting tomorrow, what are you most excited about with the Jaeger Cup? Which matchups are you looking forward to the most? Let's just dive right in.
um, it's no secret I absolutely adore the Jägermeister Cup. I think the inclusion of championship teams has made this a better competition. Um, and I think it's only going to get better if this continues moving forward and when the eventual USL Premier or whatever they call the top division, um, if those teams come in as well, I think this is a recipe for a great thing that'll continue, and it'll be one of those moments you look back on 20, 30 years from now, or like, damn, this cool competition started in 2025. Remember when we were doing podcasts about stuff like League One back then? Like, yeah, it's insane that this is happening. I love this competition. I can't wait to see this iteration of it. And as far as matches, besides all of them, literally, I think um I think my biggest ones obviously take my Union Omaha bias out of it. I think that is obviously my one I'm going to really want to be watching. Um, but a really big, interesting one. We talked about it earlier. Sacramento Republic versus AV Alta is a big one. Birmingham Legion versus Chattanooga Red Wolves. Look out for the Red Wolves in that one. I'm not gonna say upset alert, but upset alert there. Um, and then FC Naples and the Charleston Battery, which we hit on earlier as well. I want to say NCFC versus Charlotte. We've seen that already though, so it would be cool. It's going to be cool to see it in the Jaeger Cup. That's obviously a big one. But if I had to circle, the biggest one for me is the Chattanooga Red Wolves and the Birmingham Legion. But I want to give a sneaky shout out to a match I think is going to catch a lot of people by surprise. Westchester and Rhode Island on Sunday at 2 o'clock. That for me is the matchup. If you want to see some fireworks, I got a feeling you're going to see some in that one.
Yeah, we saw plenty of fireworks. Westchester when they went down to Greenville for their week one match, ending in a 1-1 draw. Um, this is a team that will play the full 90. They're going to take you the distance. You better put the match away early and take the crowd out of it because, man, Westchester, yeah, they're going to get down and dirty and they're going to, yeah. Mm. That's a good pick. For me, I like the Spokane Oakland Roots matchup. Um, I do like the historical aspect of the Louisville City versus Richmond. Just like the champion on champion type aspect. Louisville City has that rich history. Richmond obviously has a history of their own. So putting those two up against each other, that's got plenty of storylines too. But I really like the One Knox SC Tulsa one. I also really like Ford Madison Indy 11.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you, just go up and down. And yeah, I like this one. Oh, yep, I like that one too. Oh yeah, this one's good too.
Yeah. And I mean, we also can't forget that AB Alta plays again on Wednesday against the Las Vegas Lights.
True.
So 2 Jaeger matches within, what is that, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 days.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough one. That's going to be a gut check definitely for AV Alta, especially pending what happens against Sacramento Republic.
So look at their upcoming schedule. Jägermeister Cup at Sacramento Republic. Jägermeister Cup at Las Vegas Lights.
Oh no, I have to go to
Regular season
Vegas.
home match. What's that?
Like, oh no, I have to go to Las Vegas.
Oh no. Oh
Damn.
yeah, I know. Then they host Naples in the regular season. Then they go to FC Dallas for US Open Cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
and that match
That's a
with
tough
against
road.
FC Naples is on Saturday too, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
And then
Ooh.
Wednesday.
Oh, rough, man.
So
Saturday,
see,
Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday.
Wednesday, Saturday.
Oh man, yikes!
Yeah,
But
that's
that's what you get
brutal.
when you're in cup competitions, man. This is what we all signed up for. This is what we all want to see.
Yeah. Yep. This is when it gets fun. All right, we'll leave the live chat open for just a minute here. Let you guys throw your questions in there if you want to. But we can start wrapping up as well. Ooh, I don't know if I told you. I think I might have told you. So I was at an event and I was a part of a silent auction. And yeah, so I did tell you. Okay.
Mhm.
So I won a trip to Louisville, Kentucky, to stay at a bed and breakfast for a couple nights. There's going to be a bunch of like distillery tours in there. So it'll be a chance to go drink a bunch of bourbon.
Hell
And I'm
yeah.
trying to time it perfectly so that I can see Louisville City, I can see Racing Louisville, do a bunch of distillery tours. Hopefully, it's nice enough weather that there can be like a bonfire and drink some bourbon next to it.
No, that's the dream right there.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited for that. That's cool.
Lucky man.
I still have no idea when that trip is going to happen, but it'll happen at some point in the next year because that's the expiration date on it.
It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So jealous.
All right, it looks like we don't have any questions in the live chat, so we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of League One on the Rocks. We have plenty of more stuff to talk about next week. Recaps of the Jager Cup matches, diving back into league play, prepping for US Open Cup matches. So yeah, we have so much more coming at you, and we're glad you joined us tonight. My name is Rich. You can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I'm Rich But I'm Not, and that is Brian. You can find him on Twitter at Mediocre Ace.
Sometimes.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.